Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that honestly I felt really great about last season. They were so much fun to watch, made the playoffs, had that big comeback, and now you guys are looking to put the finishing touches on a team that you hope can be a Super Bowl contender. And I'm here to do that and more in this mock draft. Starting off at number 24 overall, I figured, hey, this team can always use another lineman. And you guys, on the interior, there are some problems. You could kick some guys inside, but I figured, hey, let's go out and get one of the best interior offensive linemen in this entire class. And that's Osiris Torrance out of Florida. I think somebody who can just absolutely maul, played in the SEC, obviously an extremely high level of competition. And a lot of people are really high on Torrance. And a lot of people are really high on this next player. It's DJ Turner, the cornerback out of Michigan, who I take with your second round pick, number 56 here. Somebody who's really athletic and just has super high potential. I think that Turner can be a really good player. You guys really needed a cornerback. And, maybe it's not somebody who contributes immediately, but a lot of corners don't contribute immediately. Sauce Gardner is the exception. And if you can go out and get somebody who in 3 or 4 years is somebody who can call a cornerback one, that's more than a success to me. So I think that Turner was certainly a solid pick here. And this next one was another secondary player and somebody who can play all over the place. I go to Florida State. This is literally a Florida State dorm. So I've seen this guy in person. I talked to him. I had the chance to talk to him at the Senior Bowl, at the media availability for the Pro Day. I've seen a lot of Jamie Robinson, and he's who I took here. A guy who can play safety, play nickel. They had him playing like a center field type role when he was at the Senior Bowl. The dude is willing to do anything. He knows football. The football IQ is extremely high. He can play just about anywhere, and I think that he would be a really solid player for you. Moving on to pick 121. You guys have Evan Ingram, who honestly has turned his career around since going to Jacksonville and has been a really strong player there. And I figured, hey, I'm not going to mess with that. But I'm going to go out and get you a more, normal in the box kind of tight end. Somebody who can do the blocking, kind of receive a little bit, but can be a really strong tight end too. And that's Luke Schoonmaker. You already have, like I said, the glorified slot receiver type in Evan Ingram, but Schoonmaker's a really good blocker and somebody who I'm pretty high on in this draft class and think can be a really good traditional tight end. And somebody else who I'm really high on, who I don't even think is going to last to this pick, but hey, he was available, so I'm taking him. It's Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State, somebody who I think can be a really, he has number one potential. There aren't a lot of guys in this class that you look at and you're like, he can be an X in this league. And that's what X here, Xavier Hutchinson, can do. He can be an X in the NFL, and that's exactly why I drafted him, because at the very least, it's just another contributor. And that's kind of where I went with this next pick. I took Warren McClendon, the offensive tackle out of Georgia, somebody who I believe was also down in Mobile, and a lot of people don't talk about him, but he's really not a bad football player anymore at all. When you watch the Georgia offensive line, those are guys that are having to go up against the best SEC opponents in the country, and Warren McClendon held his own and did more than just that. He's somebody who I just think isn't getting a lot of hype and is kind of an undervalued player, so I took him here. And another undervalued player and somebody who I really liked when I watched his tape was cornerback Rajon Wright, who just I think is being very underrated because of the school. Oregon State doesn't have they're not a team that everyone's looking at Oregon State, first round pick. And I'm not saying Rajon Wright's a first round pick, but I'm not saying he's bad. I think he can be a really good football player. You guys needed the corner depth. We took one earlier in DJ Turner. Let's go take somebody else here in Rajon Wright. And that's kind of just what I did with the next pick. Go out and get some depth. Every team in the NFL, no matter who you are, can use edge depth. And I think that I went out and addressed that in a pretty big way with Nick Hampton out of App State here, who I think is being overlooked again because of the school, and just somebody who I think a lot of people are high on and could be a contributor off the edge. And at the very worst, it's a camp body. And at 208, are you really mad if the player's bad? I don't even think Nick Hampton's I think he's a good player, but I'm saying if it doesn't work out, you're looking for somebody who can be really good. And that's what Nick Hampton is. And with the last pick, another defensive lineman, more depth. This one's really simple, not going to exaggerate very much. It's Jared Clark, who out of Coastal Carolina can be a pretty good football player for you. Hopefully, like I said, at the very worst, it's a camp body or somebody that can be rotational. And at the very best, maybe you end up finding a diamond in the rough. And that's kind of just how the draft goes. And I want to know what Jaguars fans think of this mock draft. Make sure to comment. Make sure to tell me what you think, what your team should have done, how you like what I did, what you would grade, and what you would change. Draft night is, very quickly approaching. We're just around the corner, and we have a bunch of content coming to Weeball for the draft and after the draft for the 2024 class. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.